Welcome to the Senior Living Show, where we are celebrating the best years of life. I'm Vicki Rogers. We have such a great show for you today. We're going to be talking to Bellarmine Knights head basketball coach, Scotty Davenport, national champion. Oh gosh, he's got the best stories to tell you. You are not going to want to miss that. We're also going to talk to Scott Neal from Caregiver Circle. He's going to have a lot of great advice about finances during your elder years and how to save money and what your expenses all mean. He's going to help map all that out, help us better understand how to be a little more fiscally responsible as you get a little bit older. So plus, you know, Derby this week. We've got so many great things coming up to look forward to. What a great week to be in Louisville. And if you're having friends and if you're having family in, there's so many great things to do. There's something for everyone. So make sure and attend the bed races, the Great Steamboat Race, Wine on the River, the parade, and of course, get out to Churchill Downs. No matter what day you go, it's going to be a blast. So stay tuned, settle in, and we're going to have a great show for you today on the Senior Living Show. Back in just a minute.
For over 65 years, families have trusted Coit to deep clean just about everything, all backed by our 100% satisfaction guarantee. Clean as new. That's the Coit commitment to you. Call 1-800-FOR-COIT today to schedule your Coit cleaning and save 25%.
100 years ago, we were selling appliances like these. Things have changed over the years, but one thing that hasn't is our commitment to our customers. And our growth has allowed us to carry the best selection of today's top brands. We wouldn't be one of the nation's oldest appliance dealers if we didn't provide professional salespeople and custom installation. The same thing that was true 100 years ago is still true today. There's no hassle at Bonnie Castle.
For over 65 years, families have trusted Coit to deep clean just about everything, all backed by our 100% satisfaction guarantee. Clean as new. That's the Coit commitment to you. Call 1-800-FOR-COIT today to schedule your Coit cleaning and save 25%.
Welcome back to the Senior Living Show. I'm Vicki Rogers, and we are so lucky to have a special guest with us today. This is part one of our interview with Scotty Davenport. Oh, we just love having you here. I'm such a big fan. National championship coach for the Bellarmine Knights men's basketball team. How did that feel?
Luckiest man in the world.
Oh.
People make fun of me all over this community because I constantly refer to myself as the luckiest man, but I truly am. I'm without a doubt the luckiest coach. Men, women, high school, college, pro. It doesn't make any difference. Division I, Division II, Division III, the luckiest coach, any sport, any level that's ever coached a sport. I truly am. And I say that in all humility, but I say it from the bottom of my heart.
How's that ring feel? Does the ring feel good?
I've never put it on my life.
Why?
I have never as much, couldn't tell you if it fits.
Why not?
Because I think that would be admitting I'm satisfied. So the drive to get another one, I have never, couldn't tell you if it fits. Wow. Now, I have it displayed. We show it to recruits. It has lights that reflect on it. But technically, I've never put it on in my life. And because I don't want to feel like, okay, that's the end all be all. That's it. No, right. Let's go get another one.
So you're striving for more, and that is one of the reasons we wanted to have you on this show.
Never had it on in my life.
Because you're so motivated, you're positive, and you're living the best years of your life, and that's what this show's all about.
No, I truly am.
Yeah.
I truly am. You know, in recruiting, we tell the prospects as they're juniors and seniors in high school that we want to offer you a chance to come to Bellarmine to have 4 of the greatest years of your life. But we wanted to prepare you for the next 40, 45 years of your life. The dedication, the passion, the attention to detail, that should pay off. But we want college to be the greatest time of your life.
Right.
To prepare you for even a better life. Think of this. This is mind-boggling to the people watching this show. Those players that we're recruiting, we have 4 freshmen right now coming in next fall, 4 tremendous young men. We'll sign 1 more. They're going to work past the year 2065. Now, that's a wow moment.
Yes.
They are.
Yeah.
So it's our job to prepare them. Well, how better prepare them than enjoy every minute of your life as their leader?
Wow.
That's where it starts.
Yeah, that's right.
Think of that.
Yeah.
Research shows, and I use this, it's like I'm in your living room recruiting you. Research shows when they retire, there will not be one single automobile in the United States of America driven by a human. They will all be self-driven.
Wow.
See?
Yeah.
So can you imagine when these current players retire and their sons or their grandsons or granddaughters, you drove what? Like nobody drives.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's what, okay, who would have known in 2007 the iPhone came out?
Yeah.
Or Twitter?
Right. Yeah.
Who would have known?
Yeah.
Okay, it's 12 years ago. That's where we are.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I'm so inspired about you is the way that you give back to this community. You're a Louisville native. You do so much nonprofit community work. Tell everybody a little bit about that.
I lost my dad when I was 9 years old on Halloween day, 1:15 in the afternoon, 15 feet from me of a massive heart attack. Think of when you're 9 on Halloween. That's a pretty good day.
Oh.
That's on a Sunday. That's a pretty good day.
Yeah.
From that point forward, my mother was a superstar. The best we can tell, because it was a one-room schoolhouse, a sixth grade education, ran her own business for 43 years. But teachers, coaches, counselors, principals, assistant principals, they filled a void in my life like any other. So why wouldn't I not then try to help others? In recruiting, we can all break down what separates one player from another because player A shoots better percentage or player B gets more rebounds. We can do that. Mm-hmm. But what separates A from B? If A makes others around them better. That makes A become extraordinary. So why not spend every day trying to make others better? Helping out. What if a third grade class at Fraser Elementary, that's where I went on Larchmont Avenue. What if every third grader went in there that day and said, I'm going to try to help everybody in this class? That'd be a heck of a class that day.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
I've just lived by that my whole life. That's how I was raised.
I love it. I love that motto. And I have to ask you really quick, we're going to have to take a break. But before I do, how was the mini marathon yesterday?
I'm here.
I know.
I'm here. It's great.
Yeah.
It's because it's a celebration of Louisville.
Yeah.
You're running. It's every demographic, every age, every race, it's everything Louisville. And you start down there, downtown, you finish downtown. And growing up on Central Avenue, the Derby will always have a special place in my heart. And the mini marathon, and to be able to do it. And my attitude is, I get to run the mini, not I have to run the mini. That's a big difference. What if every single day we wake up, I get to go to work today, or I have to go to work today? Big difference.
Yeah, that's right.
Or I get up every day at home, I got to live another day. No, I get to go live another day. That's why I run the mini.
I love it. All right, that's awesome. You're inspiring me. You're inspiring everyone, I'm sure. We're going to be back in just a couple of minutes with part 2 of our exclusive interview with Scotty Davenport. Stay tuned for more on the Senior Living Show. Welcome back to the Senior Living Show. I'm Vicki Rogers. I'm here with Scott Neal, who is the president of D. Scott Neal Incorporated and founder of Caregiver Circle. Welcome back.
Thank you, Vicki.
Last time you were on the show, we talked about 5 different things that folks need to do with every single dollar that comes into their household. And we're going to drill down a little bit more specifically on that, right? Tell us about it.
Yeah. Well, the 5 things, to recap those, all the money that comes in has to go in one of 5 places. It goes to pay your taxes, goes to pay on your debt, you give some, you save some, and you spend the rest. And it's the spending decision that really determines your living standard. And so housing ultimately becomes one of the largest components of that spending. And if you're like most people who want to come and age in place, they want to stay at home, what you have to realize is that your expenses might actually go up when you start aging in place. You know, the normal things are going to always be there. You're going to want to provide for the upkeep and the maintenance, and oftentimes you might have to hire someone to be able to do that when you're aging. Then you want to keep the lights on, of course, and so you pay the utilities and the insurance. And so in our cash flow forecast or projection, I want to group the expenses into areas that will impact a future decision. So, for example, the housing. Typically, people will put insurance all together in one category of a budget, and they'll say, okay, the health insurance and the life insurance and the house insurance and the car insurance and all that sort of thing. We believe that you ought to group the decision-making categories together. So you would put the house insurance there with the house. And so usually medical expenses begin to take on added significance later on in life
now,
as well.
Isn't it hard to plan for medical expenses? How do you do that?
Well, not really. In fact, medical expenses can oftentimes be one of the easiest categories to plan around, because if you have health insurance, typically the health insurance will define the amount of the deductible, define the copay, and will define some lifetime maximum as well as some annual maximum that they will pay for your care. So we believe that that's one of the easier categories to. In fact, we encourage people to put their annual maximum in their operating budget for the year, and if you don't spend it on health care, you'll spend it on something that's a little more fun.
Indeed. And now there's a term called balanced billing. Explain that to us.
Yeah, that can really blow the best laid plan. Balanced billing is essentially, and it's a surprise to a lot of people. We hear lots of stories, you can find them on the web, about six-figure balanced billing or surprise billing. So let's say that you go to a hospital and you know that the hospital is in your network, but maybe many of the healthcare providers in the hospital, working in the hospital, are not in your network. And so they can bill at a higher rate, and they can send you the bill afterwards. A lot of them total up to six figures.
And then, so how do you deal with that? What do you do?
Well, Vicki, we actually encourage people to plan for I know no one wants to go to the hospital, but we actually encourage people to plan for their hospital stay. And in addition, and we'll talk about that in a future segment in more detail, but we actually encourage everyone to have a rolling budget, a rolling forecast of their expenditures over the next 12 months.
And how does that work?
Well, a rolling budget means that if you're beginning in April, say, then you start the budget in May and you roll it out until the following April. And then the following month, you drop off a month and you add a month. And so you just kind of keep that rolling forward. So you always have a look into the future, at least 12 months. And that'll deal with a lot of contingencies.
I love it. Well, I know you're going to want to find out more. How can they do that?
Well, we can join us at caregiverscircle.com. We talk about things like this.
And we will be back with more on the Senior Living Show.
Heating and Air Conditioning, your independent Trane dealer, has been serving the Louisville area since 1947. The customer service is second to none, and their job is not complete until you are satisfied. Call 367-1212 for all your family and business needs. Burkhead Heating and Air Conditioning, your independent Trane dealer, is the company to keep you comfortable year-round. Call 367-1212 today. You're a step ahead with Burkhead and Trane. It's hard to stop a train.
And welcome back to the Senior Living Show. And this is part 2 of our interview with head coach of the Bellarmine Knights, Scott Davenport. And I'm Paul Najar. And Vicki did a great job in that first segment, and she touched on some
Just
things.
for update, breaking news, she's running the mini marathon next year. We've got it. So get ready, get your signs ready, line the route, you can cheer on next year.
I'd run that mini, and I'd be feeling so bad. And you are full of energy, and I love it. And that's the way we always gotten to know you. And through the years, Scott, you know, when you talk about Derby, and this is that time of year. The Mini's a part of it, and I know it's other than March, which is very special to you. This is the best time of year for you, and having grown up in the shadow of Churchill Downs, as you mentioned, as a young boy with your mom and seeing all the sights, tell me how significant and how special this part of the year is for you.
Growing up on Central Avenue was so special because everybody had more bounce in their step. I know my mother used to complain because the street cleaners, they were coming through twice that week. Now they would come once the rest of the year, but they're coming twice that week. But those azalea bushes had to be trimmed. They had to bloom right on time. You cut your grass twice, you trimmed it, you blew it, everything had to be immaculate because everybody took so much pride in being an ambassador for the city of Louisville. Back then, the traffic patterns were all different. So you parked cars anywhere you could. I mean, I made $30, $35, $40 on Derby Day. You know, you think you're 10, 11 years old, and you made $40 cash, and your mother's talking about you keep that money, you can go to college. College? Why would I go to college? I got $40. I never had to get a job the rest of my life. But it was so much pride in the Kentucky Derby and Churchill Downs because in the South End, it was the hub of the South End. I went to grade school with people at Fraser Elementary who could tell you in grade school and in junior high and in high school, I'm going to work at Churchill Downs. And they did. I can name them right now. Brian, the whole Pike family. I can name people all up and down the sheet who said, I'm going to work at Churchill Downs because their families did, and they worked their way up at Churchill Downs. It's an amazing place.
Now, technically, you don't work at Churchill Downs, but you worked a lot of hours there, having not just your fun, but your relationship with one of the best trainers in the world in Dallas Stewart and one of the most humble, wonderful guys. And talk about that training that you had 31 years ago. Was it 1988, 89, that summer that you spent working with him?
I spent 1 month. I was trying to get some money. My wife was turning 40. I didn't want to take it out of, quote, our money. So I was a teacher, high school coach, and you're full-time, you're busy all the time. But in the summer, from 4 o'clock in the morning till 10, you can maybe work. So I said, well, I think I'll go back and ask Dallas if I can get a little job, make a little part-time money. And I worked 1 month from 4 a.m. to 10, 7 days a week. And at the end of the barn, they had Dallas, I said he diversified the thoroughbred industry because it had Catalina and Armando and Juan and on and on and on. And it said Scott. And I was the high school teacher and coach. But I learned about dedication, attention to detail, and passion is universal in successful people, no matter Wayne Lucas, Dallas Stewart, or Bellarmine basketball. You know, that horse next to you doesn't know that you're raking his stall, but if you make his bridle shine brighter or his halter or everything's a little better, the way he's cared for, that will transcend into the way they run. Why not do that with your players as a coach?
And that's exactly what you do, right? Those 6 a.m. workouts, those 5:30 wake-up calls for practice, your morning madness in October where the guys are sleeping in the locker room.
But all successful people love what they're doing. Find me someone who's great at their job, and I'll find you someone who loves their job. Find me someone who's not very good, I'll find you someone who hates their job. And I've said this, I should have said it to Vicki. Here I am. I've coached 40 plus years, 41 years, and just think I've never had a job. I've had an advocation. A job by definition will be a vocation. And my mother said right before she passed away, she said, just think, Scotty, if you really keep working hard, you might get a real job, make something out of yourself. Still trying. Still trying. Get that big boy job.
Well, you've got the big boy job with Bellarmine in a way, in that sense that as you've grown, so has the university. And everyone in town has heard in recent weeks the opportunities that are presenting themselves to the university and what the opportunities with athletic director Scott Wiegand and all the programs might be undertaking in the near future.
Well, the bottom line is we're so blessed to have leadership like Dr. Donovan, like Scott Wiegand, that are going to do what's best for Bellarmine. And when I say Bellarmine, it starts with the students, their families, the staff, the alumni. Everybody is in that umbrella. But when you do what's best, then everybody will win. And since I've been a coach, No different. When I was at Ballard, we won a state championship in 1988. That was great for Ballard High School. If Ballard High School had things going on great, that would be good for Ballard basketball. When I was at the University of Louisville, if great things went on throughout the university campus, it would be great for basketball. 2005, we go to the Final Four in St. Louis. That was great for U of L. 2011, we won a national championship. That was great for Bellarmine University, as much as it was Bellarmine basketball. And that's how I feel about this. And, you know, it's a process. We'll see where it goes.
A winner, serial winner, as I like to call you, a serial winner. I didn't break out this tie very often. This is 25 years that I've had this. I don't break it out often. It's jockey silks. And I want to know, because you are the mayor of the backside during that week leading up to Derby, and Oaks Day is always a fun day. I know you've got some interest there in Oaks and Derby, and maybe give us a little hint on who you might.
For the Oaks, out for a spin. Dallas Stewart's horse, out for a spin. I will give you the Derby trifecta right now.
Okay.
On Sunday, Tassicus, Improbable, the hometown people, Clint Glasscock, Starlight Racing, the Wolf family, Glasscock family, and War of Will. And I'll even give you 4. I'll give you 4 so you can spread your money a little more by all standards.
By all standards, War of Will, Tacitus, and
Improbable. There's your 4. Box them. Good luck.
I love hearing it because this guy knows, has great experience in the backside, and it's always a pleasure to have Scott Davenport around. And thank you, Scott, for all you do with the university and for the Louisville community. Really appreciate it.
Well, thanks to this community. This community is second to none. It's the best, and I'm proud to call this home.
Hey, for Scott Davenport. Hey, Paul Najar, we'll be back with more on the Senior Living Show. Happy Derby Week from this guy. We'll be back with more in just a minute.
A few years ago, I was very embarrassed about my weight. I had lost weight in the past, but no matter what I tried, I just couldn't seem to lose it this time. I needed a plan. Imagine that. I needed a coach. That's when I turned to InShape MD, and wow, did their program work. I lost 42 pounds in the very first month. Now, I'm down 73 pounds, and I feel tremendous. It worked for me, and it will work for you. Let InShape MD be your coach, and you will love the results.
For over 40 years, Superior Van and Mobility has been providing Louisville with state-of-the-art mobility solutions. We offer the latest vehicle conversions by Braun Ability, as well as custom lifts by Bruno. To go along with our knowledgeable, friendly staff and our expansive inventory, we now have an incredible new showroom and service center at 1506 Lakeshore Court near Hurstbourne Parkway and I-64. Stop by or visit us on the web at superiorvan.com.
Okay, it's Derby week and there are so many great events going on in Louisville. Here they are. It's our calendar of events. What a show!
What a show. You can't do much better than the mayor of the backside, Scott Davenport, Churchill Downs, and Scott Neal with his great information. But it's Derby time, and Vicki, it is always, always fun. I know you've got a busy week. Where are you going to be next week, all during the week?
I'm going to be out at Churchill Downs on Tuesday and Wednesday and Friday and Saturday. And I've got all my dresses and hats lined up. And by the way, Dee's, thank you for doing my beautiful hats. Dee's does it every year. They do it locally for me. They're wonderful.
And, you know, it's the jockey silk tie that I'm sporting today.
I'm
got
impressed.
a little bit of a story behind that.
I would love to hear it.
I'm a native Pennsylvanian, but a transplant in Louisville's home. And, you know, a couple great things about that. I had an older brother that played football at Louisville. So when I was a little kid, big events like the Indy 500 and of course the Kentucky Derby and the Masters, golf, big events were big deal in the house. And I never missed the Derby. And at a young age, the first time I saw it, Secretariat, 1973. The first memory I have was Secretariat, but it was before the race. Of course, my old Kentucky home, and I was blown away. I was mesmerized at the age, I was almost 7, I guess, at the time, and I was just, and it tears me up all the time.
It's a goosebump moment.
It is an unbelievable goosebump moment, and then to hearken that tie to Johnstown, my home in Pennsylvania, Johnstown was the winner of the 1939 Kentucky Derby.
Oh, wow.
And then this silk tie comes into play. 25 years ago on Derby Day, a guy comes in. I was working part-time at Love and Hearts clothing store, and I bet you a lot of you remember Love and Hearts. And this guy comes in, he's skipping around. It was Nick Zito, the trainer for Gopher Gin.
You didn't know that,
I
though.
did not. I knew who Nick was. I knew who he was.
Okay.
But he came in and he was just skipping and singing, and he was so excited. Came in to pick up his Derby Day suit. It was pouring down rain. He couldn't have been happier because Gopher Gin, you're right, was a mutter. He said, my horse is gonna win, I guarantee it. Put your money on my horse. That was my first winning Derby bet.
How much did you bet?
I think it was $25
Wow.
on Gopher Gin, and I think the return was quite good on Gopher Gin. But that's why I got this tie, the jockey silk tie, in honor of Nick Zito, Gopher Gin, and the Kentucky Derby. So there you go.
That's such a great story. And are you going to bet on Scotty Davenport's picks?
You cannot not go wrong with those.
I know.
Absolutely. You've got to. And then, of course, Dallas, he's had such a great history, not only in the Oaks, but also in the Derby. His horses, if they're in the Derby, if he gets one, usually long price on them, big price on them. But you got to put him in the exotics, because there's one thing I know about Dallas Stewart and his horses and his stable. They're like him. They are relentless, hardworking, and you just you can't give up on them.
I know. Well, it's a fantastic week to be in Louisville, and we are just so grateful that you're watching the show.
Exactly. Your favorite part of the week, though, tell me that. What's your favorite part of the week? Is it just the energy, the spirit? What is it?
I think it's seeing everybody from around the world, not just around the country, but from all around the world. I mean, I'm in the media center, so I see people broadcasting on Tokyo.
France, Tokyo,
everywhere. They're writing notes. They're calling back. They're doing all their work there. They're from everywhere, and everything's focused right here. It makes you proud.
We are the center of the world for those 2 minutes, and the greatest 2 minutes in sports. The greatest 30 minutes of our show.
Yes.
Week number 8 over and done. And for Vicki Rogers, I'm Paul Najar. Thanks for watching, everyone. Happy Derby week. We'll see you next week on the Senior Living Show.